round France. This is round 8, and I'm joined today by F1 Maestro. How are you doing?
Hello everyone, I'm good once again here for round 8 as you just said, and we've had 3 or 4 cracking races on the bounce, so hopefully the trend will continue here at the Circuit Paul Ricard in France. Big news before the race is that the championship leader VSR Overkills has been moved to Tier 1. It was deemed that he was too quick. In my opinion, that decision should have been made earlier, but he's in Tier 1 now, which means the championship is now more open with Jork. Despite actually losing the championship lead last week, he's back on top with Overkill's promotion, and Danny's only 7 points behind. So it's going to be an interesting race today with new credentials for the championship, with obviously the main guy not in the league anymore.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Overkills, but I think from what I saw, he was just getting far too far ahead of everybody else at every race. I mean, if that's how you do it, that's how you do it. You've just got that inherent pace that some just haven't managed to achieve yet, be it they just haven't put enough practice in or just haven't really spent enough time on the game. But here we are in Tier 2, we've still got some extremely quick drivers like Jork, who currently leads the championship in the McLaren. Not many people have actually come out yet, and we've been in the session for around 3 minutes. My speakers keep turning themselves off. Give me a minute.
Yeah, I think it's another case of it being you have to use the medium tyres in quali if you want to have a good race. Unfortunately, um, we've got a couple of people out on the softs. Jamie, BR Hamilton, and Mike Marshmallow out on the softs, but I imagine that will just be size laps. We didn't race around this track last season, but when we did race around here 2 seasons ago in season 4, it was actually Jamie who took the win. Um, I don't think he'll be repeating that feat today based on how his season's gone so far, but you never know. They also got a new pit entry since we last raced here, which I would have appreciated a couple of seasons ago because I crashed on the pit entry and that ruined my race. As Jamie is now starting his lap on the softs, we'll see if he goes for this or not. He looks to be going for the first through. Oh, he looks to be going for it through the first few corners. So although he's cut that corner, but I guess we'll ride on board with him, see how he does. Oh, he's backed out of it
Yeah, I
now.
thought my sound was a speaker issue, but I've actually just looked back at the stream. Codemasters have been amazing and given me another sound glitch. So for qualifying, we won't have any sound, but I don't think I can really do anything about that. I've tried
Nah,
resetting it before by coming in and out of the lobby, but that doesn't seem to do anything. So we're just going to have to live with it for a quarter of an hour or so. We're just going to follow with VSR Umpy 39. What a
as
great
he's
name
off
that
the
is.
track.
Because he goes very wide. Ken Block would be impressed. That is a very, very neat save. I mean, although to be fair, I think to hit a wall here at Paul Ricard would be an achievement. You would have to be trying to hit the walls here, to be honest. The amount of runoff compared to something even like Canada is just ridiculous. I mean, there's no risk of hitting any walls if you're in control of your car.
No, exactly. So hopefully we'll see a good number of finishes as MP does actually put it fastest, but it's mainly because he's the first person to set a lap. But yeah, there's a massive pile up on the first lap last week at Canada, which is obviously a much narrower circuit than this one. So hopefully everyone will keep it clean on the first few laps and throughout the races and the whole race, and we can see a decent number of finishes as opposed to last week where I think only 11 or 12 finished when we actually had the full 20 last week. Only 16 this week, but that's still a good turnout as Mike does actually put in a lap on the softs. A 30.2, I'd imagine that's a reasonably competitive time. Um, but I don't,
Yeah,
based on what other people have done on the mediums. So maybe it is going to
yeah.
be softs. Maybe you can pull off soft hard. Obviously, I don't really play the game, so I've just gone off what other people have said, and people have told me that it's medium hard. But maybe a couple of people who are good on the tire management think they can make the softs last, which will add an element of strategy into the race, which made for a cracker last week in Canada. So I'm all for that happening once again as Jork goes into third, the championship leader, behind second place man in the championship, Danny, but quite a long way behind.
Yeah, from what I've experienced, I mean, I've only really played this track in career mode, so I don't know how much that reflects the actual game. But from what I've experienced, the softs, the wear isn't bad. It's the temperature that really struggles, particularly through Sector 3. You will see a lot of people getting very violent snaps on the back end. I'm not too sure if that was just my setup or what. But yeah, people are as somebody has just had a bit of a spin, and well, Bill Hamilton, he saw the spin, but he didn't seem to divert his course. Anyway, I think he assumed that the Racing Point was just going to try and roll out of the way, but that's going to be it for ERL Anspaz. And with a time that's almost 12 seconds off the pace, I don't think he's going to get any higher than 16th, unless somebody else crashes before they set their lap. But that's really unlucky for both drivers, because B.R. Hamilton has now wasted that set of tyres, really, because he's just had a half spin on them.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened, so hopefully you caught it for the stream. But yeah, Hamilton has escaped without a grid penalty, which you can often pick up. But yeah, unfortunate for both drivers, as you said. But Hamilton can get back to the pits. He'll have other sets of softs if he wants to qualify on them, but obviously he'll have one less run because his banker run at the start of the session has been ruined by the Racing Point spinning and getting in his way, which is obviously unfortunate for him. But at least he's still in the session. He may not have a front wing, but he does have 4 wheels on his car still.
Yeah, I think he was lucky that he was on his set of softs more than anything, because he has got more than one set of those. So if he does want to go set another lap on the softs, he can. He just has one less attempt at doing so. If he wanted to have a strategy on the medium, or the hards, then it would be a bit more of an issue, because you will only have maximum of one set of those, no matter which sort of tyre compounds you choose to bring to qualifying in the race. Obviously, you can't use any of the practice compounds because, well, these guys haven't been in the physical practice for this weekend in this lobby, but not too many people. I think Nathan Aiken is on a lap. Let's just see from his telemetry. I can't really tell how much he's pushing because we've had the wonderful sound glitch yet again.
Yeah, he's on a lap. Yeah.
Down what is, I'm surprised, isn't a long straight as Baku. There's something to break it up. There's a small left chicane, breaks around the 100-metre board. Nice turn in, want to get as much front end as possible, and you want to save that front end for Sector 3, which is probably what has some of the longest, most swooping, quite Malaysia-esque corners. So at least we've got at least some of that track still with us. I think a lot of people will be wanting that track to see come back to the calendar sometime soon, but he gets quite a lot of understeer. This is a double apex, so you go in, go a bit wide, and go back in again because of the length of the corner. And then this is the Malaysia-esque corner. You've got to brake, you've got to decelerate, turn, and downshift all at the same time, which can cause massive amounts of lockups. Another short blast to another extremely long left-hander into a right-hand hairpin that jumps out of you, and that can cause quite a few people to lose back ends, particularly in the rain, or if they're on hard tyres. It goes P3, so that is a very good time from a car that is on the medium tyres. He's beat quite a few soft runners as well, so that Ferrari can be proud of that lap.
Yeah, more people going out on the softs now. They've seen Mike set the precedent. His teammate Danny's out on the softs. Championship leader Jork on the softs. Smash F1 on the softs. Pelzeri on the softs, and then people down the field also on them. So Mike may have showed his hand too early here with whatever strategy he's planning, because now everyone's going to copy it. Whereas if he'd gone at the end of the session, maybe he could have been the only person on that strategy. Who knows, really? But maybe there's rain at the start of the race or something, so they're having to use the softs. No rain at the moment. Obviously, it's looking pretty sunny, but conditions can change as Danny now starts his lap as he heads towards turn 1. Now, can he get it stopped and turned in? Quite a blind corner. Not as bad on this game as it was on the last, because there was horrendous sun glare on the apex of that corner as he heads down towards the end of sector 1. Pretty short sector and into another chicane. Clips the apex nicely, swings it into the left-hander and picks up the throttle briefly before going down to second. Running out a bit wide, using the curb, you can get away with that, and feeding the throttle in through the right-hander before a quick flick to the left onto the very long, but it could be longer, DRS straight, which he'll prepare himself for the chicane in the middle. As Smash F1 puts it up to second with his lap on the softs. Danny clips the apex of the first part nicely down to third, and then using the exit curb as he heads down towards the second part of the straight and in towards sector 3. You were mentioning earlier the fact the rears would step out in sector 3, but I think the fronts will also have a very hard time. There's a lot of long corners in this sector, including this one here, which Danny is now making the most of the engine braking. Briefly down to third, he's missed the apex quite badly there, and running out wide on the curb before breaking down once again into this time a left-hander. Once again, a bit wide of the apex, but you don't want to clip that apex because the curb can unsettle the car. So we head into the final two corners now. A bit of a double left-hander. He hugs the inside there, and then he'll have to swing it right for the final corner, down to first to get the turn in, and feeding the power in and using all of the ERS as he heads towards the line. This has been a pretty solid lap, and indeed it does put him first, but only by a tenth of a second. And I think the third sector will be where he's looking to gain time. Missed a few apexes in there. But other than that, a pretty solid lap from Danny, and he'll have one more bite at the cherry at the end of the session.
Yeah, I don't think there was any real mistakes from Danny there. I think in terms of his setup, it could just have a little bit more grip at the front end, because I noticed he was really picking it up down the back straights, I will say. But yeah, there's small bits of understeer, but he can't really do anything about that. I think that was one of the best laps he probably could have gotten in the circumstances that car was in. So to be P1, 10th ahead of his teammate is a good effort. I thought the Alphas were going to throw a cat amongst pigeons, but they've gone back down to P4 and P6 as more people start to set their laps on the soft tyres. I think this is probably the best showing we've seen from the likes of the two Alphas, particularly Smasher F1.
Yeah, he had a good race last week, but picked up too many penalties, so finished down in, I think it was 7th. And João Paulo, as I mentioned last week, 2 points finishes on the bounce now, finally starting to find his feet in this tier, and once again he's well inside the top 10 here as he comes into the pits. Meanwhile, Aaron Dazzler, who's just straight line the chicane, I'll pretend I didn't see that, is actually up in 3rd. So after a couple of disappointing races in a row, DNF last time in Canada, he's looking to show the pace that I know he's capable of. And his teammate B.R. Hamilton puts it in 4th, who's actually should be in the racing point, but we'll gloss over that. He's in the Red Bull this week for some reason, and he's also put in a 30.7. But as currently the Mercedes boys are class ahead of the field, 3/10 between Mike and Dazzler for second and third, as MP has retired from the session for some reason, somewhere in sector 2.
Can you just inform me on this? Is that a new driver in the Ferrari or Fletch 2105?
Yeah, he joined.
Juggle two tiers.
Fletch joined for Monaco, so this is his 3rd race. He didn't finish in Monaco, but he finished 9th last week in Canada, so showed some decent pace. So he'll probably be a bit disappointed with 13th at the moment.
Yeah, at least he has got some points in the board on the board. You actually really like to see that. As Pelzeri, we're all going to pretend we didn't see that. That's on the stream, just so you know. But
I think don't watch anyone out on track. They're all straight lining corners. Oh dear.
Yeah. I'm just going
to smash this on and out lap.
Guilt trip some people, but that is Visa Umpi. Did he crash or did he just retire in the pit lane?
I don't know. I think it was out on track. I'll have a look at the race director. That should tell me if it was terminal damage or not. It was. So he's crashed somewhere. And I'm presuming it was by himself. So he said it'd be hard to find a wall, but VSRMP appears to... Well, we don't actually know, but we think he's found one. And he will take no further part in the session, currently in 11th. Smasher is also straight lining corners. It's like they're forgetting that the race is being streamed.
Paulo, who is sticking within the track limits and just having a relatively calm outlap. Everybody who set a decently quick time on the softs, everybody, which really surprised me. I would have thought this is a very abrasive track. People wouldn't want to go for the harder, for the softer compound. Sorry, but people seem to be proving me wrong. Everyone seems to get pole position in this. There's a big gap between John MH 2002 and Nathan Aitken, who I seem to remember the last race I did had a very decent showing in Spain. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember him actually winning that race.
No, he didn't win. He came 3rd, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, he had a good battle with Danny for most of that race. But he said he hasn't done any practice for this one, so 10th place at the moment. He hasn't actually done a lap on the softs yet. That lap was set on the mediums, so he's going out for a final run on the softs at the moment. As I'm currently on board with João Paulo, he's cut that corner big time, so that lap's
Yeah.
probably over. Yeah, he's backed out of it.
He's lifted off.
So I don't know who we should go with.
We're going with Smasher F1 at the moment. He's
Yeah.
come in and come back out really quickly. I think he's just started the lap. He's just at the end of Sector 1. See if his setup is dialed in. I've noticed this is a very love-hate track as well. Well, with most tracks, to be honest. I don't think there's one track that the majority of the F1 community really likes. I think most of them either fall into some sort of 50-50 category. But I do like France. It's got a nice flow to it. I think that some others don't like it because it's very hard to get a setup on. But so far, Smasher's setup is looking very solid on both ends. He's got a good turn in, but I think he's just wasted it by cutting.
He was 2/10
the
up.
longest corner on the track. Yeah,
Could have gone third.
Up would have probably put him P3. Yeah, so
Let's
that's
watch
unfortunate for
Mike
him.
or Danny. One of those two, I reckon. Mike's actually got the benefit of a toe. He's just up behind his teammate. Will be catching a slight toe. Whether it will be enough to depose his teammate from pole position, that remains to be seen.
I didn't see Mike's time.
I didn't see Mike's split either, but Danny lost time in the last sector last time around. Can he make the apexes this time? Has to use third again.
It's wide again.
Gets a bit close to the apex than last time, but still not massively close. So he heads into the left-hander now. That's much better than last time. Running out very wide.
Ooh.
Presumably the game lets you get away with that. As he heads into the double left-hander. Can he hug the inside effectively? And he's going to have a very compromised line into the last corner. I think he's not maximised this last sector whatsoever. He heads towards the line now, and he does improve by a tenth. Does Mike improve?
Wow.
Mike does improve a 29.9. And that puts Mike on
so
pole.
That slipstream, Jork, by the way, in P3, jumping out of nowhere from, I think he was previously around P9. So that is a great lap from the McLaren. He's going to be very happy with that. I go on board with somebody who's relatively close to the end of the lap. Go on board with Smasher F1 in the Alfa Romeo.
Aaron Durster was 3/10 up, but
again.
He's just spun.
Oh, okay.
Palzeri retires. The session is now over. Are we still with Smasher?
Yeah.
It was, I think, half a tenth up through the second sector, so that could jump him ahead of BR Hamilton up into fifth, which I think he'd be very happy with as he heads into the final corner now. Bit of understeer through there, but he'll have a straight run to the line. Mike's given up on it a second attempt, and Smasher doesn't improve. Is Danny on a lap? No.
No.
So, BR Hamilton is on a lap. He's 300ths down. As Mitzi puts it in sixth, and Nathan Aitken in fourth. So, some late times being on the board here. Can BR Hamilton put it in the mix? Decent start to the last sector as he heads into this left-hander now. I don't know the corner numbers, even though they're put on massive boards. So I'll try and read them through the race. And now into the penultimate corner, shifting down through the gears. I think using too much of that curb, if I'm honest. And he's. I think that's qualifying done.
Yeah, loads of times really starting to change around the boards. Pelzeri, who improved to, I think it was P5, down in P10. So that just gives you an idea of how many people put in their best laps right at the end of the session. Some people to note: Midzi in the Williams, Jamie in the Renault, Nathan Aitken in the Ferrari, who's missing a wheel, and Jork in the McLaren. So Track Evolution really playing its part there in the last part of qualifying. And some people's benefit, and to those who made mistakes, probably find themselves further down the field. That was the fastest we were going to see that track all session.
Yeah,
depends what the race is going to be like as well.
I think the top 13 were within a second, so just a testament to how close this tier is. And Mike getting pole, I think that's a bit of a shock. I think Danny would have expected to have the measure of his teammate, but he did give him the luxury of slipstream, and he has made the most of that. Let's have a look at the middle sector times. Mike did a 27.3. And Danny did a 27.4, so there you go. You want to take us to the grid? Quickly, yeah.
Yeah, I've got to do it quickly. So, pole position is Mike Marshmallow. Then you have Danny M7, Jork 94, Nathan Aitken, Aaron Dazzler, Jamie, Midzi, BR Hamilton, Smasher, Pelzeri, João Paulo, Pigeon Munch, John MH 2002, Fletch, BSR Umpy, and ERL Antsmaz, who didn't set a competitive time. I had to do that very quickly as we only had around 15 seconds left on the clock when I started.
We got it done. Yeah, sorry, I was checking the sector times, then it was the second sector. Oh my god,
Ooh.
I was right. It is raining.
This will be interesting.
I did mention the possibility of rain with everyone going on the softs, and I think that might answer why everyone went for the softs. I'm not sure if this will be inters or full wets. Probably inters, I'd imagine. I'm not sure what your take on it is.
Well, full wets are used much more in this game than they are in the old game. And there's going to be no dry line out on the track at the moment. We're going to have to wait for that to form. So even if it is full wet, it will probably only be for a couple of laps. But I wouldn't be surprised if we do see it. Of course, that is obviously why we did see everybody go onto the soft tyres. Because they obviously looked at the weather, saw this was coming, and knew their tyre selection wouldn't have mattered in qualifying. So maybe if we didn't see this, we'd have seen more people qualify on mediums. And yes, it is in tyres. Are going to be starting on... Yep, everybody's on inters. So outside the top 10, they don't have any advantage because everybody's starting on the same compound of tyre, same age. They haven't done any laps on them yet. It's a level playing field. I think the only difference now is setup and how much fuel your car's got.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very fast formation lap this week because when it's wet, people basically use the formation lap as a full-on practice lap. So won't be much weaving and slowing down and stuff. They'll be just using it to gauge the braking points. Obviously no racing line allowed in this tier, so you have to, if you haven't done any wet practice, learn the braking points on the fly. We had a wet race in Monaco as well. Jork was very quick then. He's on the pad and he almost got a podium around Monaco in the wet, so I think that is a testament to how quick he was in the rain there. But it was Danny who won in Monaco in the wet, so he'll have be confident going into this one as well. But he's got his teammate ahead of him for the moment. But not a very long run down to turn one. But if you get a good start, you can maybe move up 1 or 2 places. And starts a bit different in the wet to in the dry, as Mike's really pushing on this outlap.
Yeah, I think this guy's going to have to wait up a bit because they're 10 seconds ahead of fourth place. They're going to be sat on the grid probably the best part of about 50 seconds if they stay where they are and keep at the pace they're going. And the ALR is going to take their car regardless, so they're going to be sat on the grid for a long, long time. And
they didn't back off.
Yeah, they're going to be sat on the grid. Their cars are going to freeze. Well, 4 parts of it are. The other part in the middle is going to overheat like a dream. They're just going to have to deal with that best they can. But another thing to note, since qualifying, we've had 2 more of our drivers join us. Meg Zizou in, I'm guessing that is a McLaren, if it is, and LCR Malta in the Haas.
Yeah, so they shouldn't be in that. Mulder should be in the Toro Rosso, but it doesn't really matter.
You can't really pick. You can't pick anyway if they're halfway through a session, so it's not like you've done anything about it. But it's not a very long run to turn 1, but it is a very fast turn 1. Take it in probably 4th gear. And in the wet, people are probably going to misjudge that. Quite a few people. So I would have thought you must see an accident to turn 1. But it just depends on how carefully everybody takes it. And as we just see LCM over, the cars bounced away. I don't know why they're doing to do that. Have a bit of a hammy angle and a miss. You're going to give it to me. Thank you very much. And we have 5 lights on ahead of the drivers, and it's lights out. We didn't get held very long too, very similar to real life. I think everybody got away really well. Is that a Haas not getting very well away at the background? No, that's the McLaren of Meg Zizou, who hasn't got his car in at all into turn 1. Is relatively careful. Mercedes gets a bit of a swap on the back end. That's Danny, who had his pole position stolen from his teammate. He's going to have the inside line into turn 3. The Ferrari's going to be pressuring them. And the Ferrari's going to try and go around the outside of McLaren. McLaren is trying to go around the outside of Mercedes, and he dives up the inside. And that's 3 wide into a corner. You can only really fit 1 car through. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of front end damage on all 3 cars. But Mitty is having an absolutely brilliant start on the P5. The Ferrari almost goes straight into the side.
Mitty's up to 4.
Pass is an absolute stormer, up 3 places. So the Williams are making absolute gains right now. The Ferrari dives back down the inside. Will make it stick, and yes, that's a very good move from Nathan. Very confident on the brakes, and he's going to have to get after the Mercedes of Danny. And Danny is going to have to try and get after the McLaren of Jork, who took advantage of that fight and dove down the inside when he saw a gap. and I don't think Aaron Dazzler, may have had an incident. I'm not too sure what that was, but I saw Harlan very wide in that race. Kane has just gone a bit wide. He's gone onto the blue stuff. Along with Mercedes, I think he is. I can't see Mercedes going round the outside into this corner.
That's not going to work.
Try it anyway, and that is just not.
Still good exit though.
Sounds like we've got the inside line into the penultimate corner so to interrupt. But I think this will be very brave and Jordan Thomas coming around the outside. You've got to remember, now he's got the inside line into the last corner, and Mercedes is not going to be very difficult to get past the Larry. What does that mean?
Danny went to take a wide run and try and get a cut back, but Nathan decided that the apex was where he was going to put his car and may have helped Jordan maintain the position. It definitely would have compromised Danny's exit a little bit. Meanwhile, Calzeri up 5 race, he's got the estimate mid-sea now, so good start from both the Williams boys as Danny is all over the back of Jordan.
Placing his car brilliantly, but now Mercedes going to spend in the flying. I think it might be Ferrari that's damaged, but nevertheless, the Ferrari has just about got the car. Allen going on the limit overtake. Away with it.
Yeah, I think they're okay. As VSRMP's had an incident with the back, he is facing the wrong way. But yeah, very aggressive start from Nathan and Jordan and Danny. They all got their elbows up here. Mike McCullough needs to make the most of this. He needs to run whilst he can. And it's now the Ferrari coming over the back of the McLaren and Jordan with Danny relegated to third place. Really go up the inside into the long right-hander all over the curve, but he's gone for it and Jordan just backed out of it, and he sensibly does not decide to have a look up the inside for the second apex. So Nathan Aitken now up to second, Danny down to fourth, and a very dramatic opening couple of laps of the French Grand Prix here, once again, like in Monaco 2 weeks ago, in the rain.
Yeah, Jordan initially had a very good start, but on the first couple of laps, he's got a bit of warm-up problems, or he hasn't got into the grooving rain as quickly as certainly Nathan Aitken is on a roll right now. He's up 2 places in the first couple of laps. The person who had the best start, and Mitchell has gone down to the place. I have made a mistake, that's because Calzeri up in 3-5, so he's now had the best start of anybody over the last first 2 laps. And the worst start is goes to Dallas. He's down 11 places, hoping to start working on that. I'm not too sure if this rain will stop, and when it does, but it does stop. So we're just going to have to keep an eye on that and see if there's any clearance for this rain or lightning. This is definitely heavy rain.
Yeah, I think you might be right there. It does appear to be a bit heavier to when we were on the bridge there. Full wets do seem like a more viable option in this game than the last game where they were barely used at all. So maybe if it continues to get heavier as this, he picks up a 5-second penalty for corner crossing. ILR Triple picked one up, a 3-second penalty up earlier in the lap. Yeah, maybe if it does get wet, we could see some drivers transitioning onto the full wet, or maybe someone will try and brave it out on the inches in the heavy rain conditions. As now Danny's got his act together, he's back in the back of the McLaren. Jordan dropped off the back of Nathan. Clearly doesn't have the same wet pace he had in Monaco here, and Nathan is starting to close up to the back of our leader Mike Martello. The gap was well over 2 seconds, it's now down at 1.7 as VR Hamilton also joins the penalty club here on lap number 3.
Yeah, I think Mitzi must have a bit of front wing damage or something along those lines, because he's just lost the position to the Renault of Mr. Pigeon Run. Fantastic name, everyone tries saying that one. But Nathan Aitken, to say he didn't do any practice on that, on this track, I don't know how true that might be, but he's got absolute pace on. He's gained around a second on the Mercedes in front of him in the last lap, and he's already 2.5 ahead of George, so he's really flying now. I don't have a go at Mercedes anytime soon. George is still coming from Mercedes and Danny, who hasn't been able to get past. He's going to start rubbing his hands together if these two really start fighting. I think there'll be quite a bit of understeer in that Williams. Williams.
1.1 now. Please take it on the shot.
Flying.
Yeah, I think your point about practice is a bit hard. I think the level of practice you've done becomes pretty irrelevant when it's a wet race, because very few people will practice in the wet as Biasor picks up another penalty. His race clearly not going to plan, so a wet race sort of levels the playing field in terms of who's done what practice, because very few drivers will actually bother to practice the rain, so Nathan Aitken's practice disadvantage will be masked a bit by the wet weather, so he'll be hoping it stays wet, especially if he continues to have the pace that he does here. Gap now under a second already, and Mike's lead, he may have got a gap, but Nathan Aitken is really on the charge here on lap number 4.
Yeah, I think might have to pick up the pace a bit, or put the defensive cap on, trying to change the fly, maybe back him up into some of the pack. Jordan Gagnon, meanwhile, is still around half a second apart. Gagnon seems to get close, and then he makes some sort of early stage, he gets it once here, a bit of oversteer, whatever, and then pulls back again. Not sure if that's just down to a general stable from 30 air, but Nathan Aitken another second taken out of that Mercedes. But he didn't set fast lap in that lap, interestingly. I wouldn't be surprised if that might have been a small corner cut somewhere, because he is making some unbelievable danger. And he's got more of a easier driving style in most as well. He lifts off quite a lot before each corner, and then he takes his time. And taking the time in this case is actually making him quite a bit faster in terms of Ferrari.
Yeah, it looks very smooth, especially considering I'm 99% sure he is on the pad. It's pretty impressive. And no, he didn't pick up a warning on the last lap. It was just a 10th third in the lap before, as he now is almost within striking distance. Obviously, it's quite wet, so no DRS, but the slipstream will still play a part. 3/10, 2/10, but no. I'm not David Croft. I'm not going to say he's going to go for a move, and he hangs back this time around, but he is now all over the back of Mike's diffuser. He'll be brave to go for it into the Barker, and I don't think he'll be close enough anyway, but it's only a matter of time at this stage. He is closing up quite a lot, but not enough. Surely not on the outside! What? Oh, Mike spun!
Mike's had a spin. He did not expect that. That was an unbelievable move. I don't think Nathan Aitken did anything wrong, and he comes back onto the track as ghosted, thank God. Jesus, that could have been a very nasty accident for Mike, but that was an unbelievable move. I can't quite believe it. I can see round the outside of the fast corner at the end of the straight in France in the wet. In the wet of all things. And
I hope you had a better camera angle than I did.
Yeah, I was on board with Nathan Aitken. And then, wow, I can't believe what I've just seen. That was unbelievable. Yeah, I was like, sure, maybe like, yeah, no chance for the catch you if you pull off moves like that. That is insanity. That was. I can't get commentating properly with what a difference is in the Grand Prix. But I'm not getting together. Mike Marcello is quite battling away with the rebel of BOR Hamilton. BOR Hamilton going to pit through.
He's going to hang it right on the outside.
Yeah, he's going to hang it right on the outside of turn 2. And he's going to hang it right on turn 3. Again, there's quite a few switchbacks in terms of line.
It's gone too deep.
He's all over the curve. I could have thought he would have let Mercedes pass at this point. Very, very bad launch off of the and now the Renault tries starting inside of the segment, despite the didn't have quite enough momentum to get side by side position with them. Now he's got Slipstream into the front over the side. It's quite brave from that far back.
Lads,
Mike Marcello going to have to
Hamilton goes deep.
Work. Where he is, and even there, you can still compromise the line quite a lot and get to your rivals.
Oh,
Everybody's
gone for his step.
Mid-seas round now, so quite a few things happening in sector 3, and everybody's going to have to avoid him. Ghosting system doing its job, so nobody runs straight into him. But that is very unlucky for the Williams, who I think qualified 7 and is down 9 in P16. I think Nexi Judy must have had an incident as well. He's still where he started, and with people in front of him having incidents also, not had great races so far, as Humphrey has lost his front wing again.
Left the section. Yeah, I think Migsy and Mike will have to worry about their tyre temperatures. It's now Jamie going side by side with Mulder, who started at the back. Jamie's dropped off the back of Bill Hamilton, and Mulder's going to have a look up inside into turn 1. Jamie much later on the brakes and defends the position this time around as Mulder picks up a penalty. as we've seen on quite a regular basis from him, and that will hinder his charge to the field. But yeah, Mike now 6 seconds behind as Musa picks up penalties. We're 6 seconds behind John as Mulder has now got that move done. So Mike's gone from first place to well off even the top 5 here with that spin. He must have made contact with the back of Nathan Aitken, but obviously we didn't have a good enough angle to call who was at fault. As the rain, I think, is definitely getting heavier. I wonder if it's put VSR Linkage AI into the free runs.
Yeah, I think those people actually...
No, it didn't.
They've scrolled down. No, they're still going to go on inches. It is certainly heavy rain now. I refuse to believe that's still light because it's absolutely tucking down. Maybe this switch onto wet, maybe not instantly, but in a couple of laps. It does get quite wet, quite quickly on this game. LCR Mulder, is having a go at BOR Hamilton. Most likely isn't going to do that same move that the Ferrari did a couple of laps ago, but he's going to try and go up the inside of the... there is an actual name for the corner, I just can't remember it as of now.
The rain's so heavy. Calzari pits.
Yeah.
Must be for wet, surely. Only lap 8, unless there's a bit damage.
Calzari coming into the pit. This is going to be
yellow in sector 3. BR Hamilton pits as well. That is Fletch. A lot of cars coming into the pits.
Wet tyres, it is wet tyres. So is this going to play in the hands of the Williams and the wet tyres? How much further are they going to be able to go? And we did show the battle for P.
Danny's up to second. Yeah, we missed that. Danny's got past Jorks by Jorks, over a second behind, so I'm going to guess Jork made a mistake there. But obviously these conditions are very treacherous now. Calzari, I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps both the Mercedes and the McLaren when they come into the pits, which will be at the end of this lap, because it does look like very heavy rain. BR Hamilton also on the wet job, Paolo, Fletch, Aaron Dassler as well. So a lot of people down the order making the plunge for the full wet tyres, but those at the front didn't want to risk it seemingly, and that could come back to bite them if Calzari gets his tyres up to temperature quickly. Although he's going to have some traffic maybe, his teammate won't give him much bother though, so he'll probably be safe from that one. But I suspect to see the top, whoever hasn't pitted, coming in at the end of this lap for the full wets, unless they know something we don't, and it's going to start getting to lighter rain within the very, very foreseeable future.
Yeah. I'm just trying to see how the lap times are.
Nathan Aitken stays out. Danny,
yeah, so he's obviously
pits.
not feeling it's wet enough yet.
George stays out.
That, his lap times are staying around the same. Danny is in.
Yeah, it's Danny and John who have come in. I wonder what Mike does. Mike also... No, Mike... I thought he was coming in, but no, he stays out. So the Mercedes splitting the strategies here. And that can only mean to me that this heavy rain is going to be a short spell only.
Ooh, Mr. Pigeon Mudge. That's very deep, my friend. That is not what you want to be doing. You've gone straight across the paint at turns 1 and 2.
That's a hard penalty.
Yeah, these wet corners are starting to really slow down. He had a massive disadvantage off of that and he still got a penalty. So system seems to be working a bit on this game. I mean, it's good, but it's not brilliant. It gives people a really lot of unnecessary penalties. Actually, they're having to whack them to lose their front wing. That was just be given a 10-second stop go.
Calzari is actually a long way behind down. So maybe we're wrong, or maybe the game's being stupid. Maybe the wets are not the tyres to be on, because Calzari's over 3 seconds behind Danny. We'll have to see what the gap between Danny and Jamie does. Danny the top wets one runner and Jamie the bottom inches runner, so it's 3.9 seconds at the moment to see how that sort of develops, to see what tyres are the correct ones to be on. But at the moment it's looking like it's pretty evenly matched, as Danny does have a lot of oversteer, so he's going for it on the full wets. Whereas the top 7 are all braving it out on the inters. LCR Mulder up 12 places as a result of having not made a pit stop and joining the lobby late. So he's looking good so far. But they can continue to dominate the gap now, up above 5 seconds between him and Jork. He really is in a class of his own today in the Ferrari. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt think with Mike, I suspect I'll see that one of the stewards if Mike thinks Nathan Aitken is at fault. But Mulder pits, so he's clearly decided that the Inters aren't the car to be on. But I think it's a bit too late. Danny has now gained 7 tenths on Jamie, so maybe we have reached the time to be on the wets. But the top 6 are still. Where's that? Though? It's stupid, isn't it? No, he's put on a set of Inters.
Oh, so he obviously feels like it's going to ease off in the next few moments.
Yeah,
he's feeling confident in his tyre choice because he really wouldn't have picked those otherwise. He just forgot to change the strategy, which I doubt he would have done. But Mike Marshmallow is currently around 17 seconds behind Nathan Aitken after he had that spin. So that really cost him after he had to do some extra bows that really compromised his Mr. Pigeon Monkey all over the back of Smash Stand. He's caught back up to him over the last couple of laps. But he's looking to do an overtake now. I think he needs conditions. I would have probably waited to try and do an overtake for them later on. Sort of like try and get them past the ghostly car, the GSR Stumpy. And yeah, I think the field is a bit stagnant at the moment. I think Smash That and Pigeon Pigeon Monkey are the closest to. I think everyone's going to look at the time to see how much a certain car is going. But yeah. That overtake we made the Nathan did earlier. Shocked.
Yeah, that is shame there was contact, otherwise I think that'd be overtaken the seat hands down as Pigeon Monkey's gone very wide into the last corner. That is a pit stop for him, so he is also taking the plunge, and maybe these Inters runners are realising that it's not going to be the right strategy. As someone was out very wide there. Mike is now also in the pits. Is he? He is. Wow. So it must have been a dry up then. There's no other reason to go on into it. It has to be drying up. Mike also goes on the Inters. So this is a yellow in sector 3.
Wow,
That is Fletch. Yeah, he's had a spin somewhere. He's struggling to get it going. But yeah, all of the people who've stayed out longer have come in for another set of Inters. So they're clearly happy with the tyres they're on. Mike drops behind Mulder. He was behind him before the stop, so that's a position lost for the Mercedes man as Mulder continues his charge through the field.
Yeah, it must be getting dry. Surely
still struggling
as well.
Yeah, but I think everyone's going to have to make another pit stop for him because they must be starting to wear out as we approach half distance. So I don't see much point staying out on them past lap 12 or 13 unless, because it can't be able to dry up and then stay out on the Inters, surely not, because although it is drying up, the rain's still pretty heavy, not as heavy as it was about 5 minutes or so, but still we're nowhere near a dry track yet, and as we mentioned in qualifying, the highway around this track will be very high, so there's no way they're going to be able to make the Inters last more than maybe 17 laps maximum.
Jamie's going very wide.
We've done it through.
The race is pretty much let Danny pass, and Danny up in P4.
Pigeon Munch and Pelzeri battling. Inters versus wet. Just behind this, Pelzeri has the inside line.
Very wide.
And Pigeon Munch just understeers off the track there. So I think the wet tyres are currently the best tyres to be on. But Danny is now some 18 and a half seconds behind Smasher.
So it just depends on, well, what that's going to do when they're pit stop. Will Nathan Aitken be able to stick it to a one stop? He's been on those tyres since the beginning, and his pace is actually dropping off. And I think even if he does pit now, he'll still get ahead out of Danny. So I doubt the pit lane. He
can't the last corner though.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Probably,
last season it used to be longer, so you had to go around the last corner as well. We should still come out with another yellow section as well, so check what that is. I think Mercedes was a bit wide.
Yeah, him and Fletcher having a bit of a bass, and it might have ended in a bit of contact. But yeah, I think if Nathan Aitken was to pit now, he would come out ahead of Danny for sure. But he's clearly braving it for the moment. But surely they will come in soon. Danny is closing, but not that much. So I think this top 3 is looking pretty safe. So for the moment, Smasher's
wide.
had a bit of a quiet race, but he's
Relatively fast him. He's got a much better launch.
that's Indy's passing Ross.
Yeah, so the wet. I think we've just got a wad of understeer going through the chain, and that could be the first sign that the wets are starting to lose some of their grip.
Yeah.
Too hard to the track conditions, not clearing water that they should be in order to work properly. But Jamie is not in great time. He's already fallen back into his teammate. His tyres must be absolutely
Surely going to
blocking off that. Yeah,
No,
I think
he goes round the last corner, but he has no grip on the big slide there as he eases off the gas to let his teammates over. Yeah, he's dropping into the class of the people who've already stopped, and battling them, or even not battling them, is still going to cost you a lot of time. So Jamie's race has not gone to plan at all here, as you mentioned with Calzeri making a mistake. The gap between Danny and Smasher is starting to stabilise as Mulder moves past his teammate for this race. Another move from an Inter's running car, moving past the wet running car. So I think it is maybe switching back to the Inter's being the tyres you want to be on. And with Mr. Fisherman charging through on fresh Inter's, and I think inevitably the top four are going to have to pit for another set of Inters. Mr. Pigeon Bunch, well, he's too far back at the moment. If the top three stay out any longer, maybe they could come under pressure, because we saw with Jamie, who's been on the tyres since the start as well, he was really struggling to grip as he's now got Calzeri behind him. So I'm sure will be looking to go for the move. Not quite yet, but soon he's so much later on the brakes, and Jamie jumps out of the way there and gets a penalty for some reason, because the game is not very good. But Calzeri was so late on the brake there. I think it's lucky that Jamie did jump out of the way, because otherwise the Williams would have run into the back of him, and he gives a little weave as to say thank you as Nathan pits. But the gap between Danny and Smasher has gone up by half a second this lap, so I think it will 100% be another set of Inters for the Ferrari. Jork follows him in. Smasher continues out for another lap in the Alfa Romeo, but I reckon it's only a matter of time before he comes in too. I reckon Danny might come in for a fresh set of Inters, as he has a big oversteer coming out of whatever corner that is, turn 13, and indeed he does pit as well. So the wet tyre gamble has not worked for those guys, and the people who stayed out on the Inters have benefited hugely. Nathan Aitken will lead the race from Jork, and Mr. Pigeon Munch will move up into fourth, which could become third maybe when Smasher. No, he jumps Jork. Mr. Pigeon Munch is up into a net P2 with the undercut on the Inters, so the pit stop time is obviously much longer than we anticipated, and he moves up into what will be a P2 when Smasher inevitably pits within the next couple of laps, and Boulder's up to P5 from the back of the grid. Fair play to him. Mike's back up into P6 after his earlier spin. John MH still braving it on the full wets, but he'll have to pit soon, with Danny now down in a net 7th as he picks up the penalty. There's another yellow in sector 3. That's Fletcher again. The full wet's really not working well, as pretty much everyone is now back into the pits for a set of Inters, and we'll be able to reassess the whole order when everyone's got those tyres on. But yeah, Mr. Pigeon Bunch, we did sort of allude to it, but it's worked out much better than I think we thought it was going to be for him, because I thought it would be close to Jork and Smasher, but not ahead of him.
Yeah, I think that's where we saw so many people go into tyres. I think we were a bit rude to question that, because obviously they have the forecast and well, we don't. So they've obviously called it all right. There's still 2 drivers on the wet tyres. That is the Haas of John MH and ERL Anderson. I would have thought they would have come in this lap. And Smasher's pitted. Well, that's really inevitable, to be honest. Didn't give any pressure to anybody else in that in-lap. He's just sort of stayed in his own terms, kept it on the track on what was most likely a very worn set of tyres. He hadn't wanted to start of the race. And to put them through a very, very wet period like that, where the wet tyres are the preferred compound, it's a very good job indeed to still get them 14 laps. Now, where does Smasher come out? That's going to be the interesting.
He'll be fourth.
He's going to be behind Mr. Pigeon Munch, behind Jork as well. And where is LCR Mulder? Yeah,
he'll be ahead of Mulder.
So he will be P4. So he's on a lap younger. His tyres are a lap younger than LC Jork. So whether that makes a difference, probably not. Inters a very hard wearing compound, so probably only a couple % difference, and that may well change further on we get, because themselves. And Mr. Pigeon Munch is Inters are quite a bit older. Same with LCR
Yeah.
moulders. LCRs, I'm not too sure that will make a difference by the end.
It just depends if it gets dry enough for the dry tyres before the end of the race. If it doesn't, Mr. Pigeon Munch and Mulder and Mike, for that matter, might start to struggle at the end of the race. But if it does get dry enough for them to bolt on a set of softs or mediums or whatever, then that shouldn't be a problem for them. As Antsmas and John H have now gone on to the Inter. John H just about stays in the points in the P10, but Antsmas has dropped to 12th. As we do still have 17 runners left in the race. This RMP disconnected or rage quit. We're not quite sure which one early on. But the other 17, to be fair to them, have stuck at it, as Nathan Aitken has got back on the gas, and he's got the gap now above 7 seconds. And as far as I know, he picked up a lot of penalties last week in Canada, but he's kept it clean this week to my knowledge. I'm going to just check the race director. It's got 2 warnings.
He was just coming on to that small left he had any fix, they used the blue stuff, but he managed to keep it on the track, and he's now
punted out
to go at the racing point, and that is big spike of lag.
Unfortunately, Mitzi, well, I didn't quite catch it, but I think Mitzi, he has now joined Umpi in the retirement. Mitzi, I think maybe a bit of lag, but I think Mitzi may be putting his car in a position where João Paulo didn't expect it to be, and that's just caused Mitzi to retire, and João Paulo's lost a couple of seconds off the back of Antsmas. Difficult to call that one. Probably a racing incident, I'd say, as Nathan Aitken set the fastest lap and now has the gap over 8 seconds. He is absolutely flying, and fair play to him. What a race he's having.
Yeah, I think they were having the Alfa Romeo and the race point Turismo very close. You find a bit of contact, and then the Alfa didn't expect him to put it there and didn't give him any room. So a bit of unawareness from the Alfa in front, and yeah, a bit of a clumsy incident overall. But unlucky for Mitzi. He had an incident early on. I'm not too sure what happened, if he was by himself or what. They did have a good qualifying, so he didn't take that away. Apart from that, race is sort of quite a bit stagnant for that.
Yeah, no one's close to each other at all. Jork's 1.7 seconds behind Pigeon Munch, and that's... Puzzle's 1.5 behind Jamie, but yeah. Everyone's sort of spread out with the differing pit stops and strategy that the rain has brought, but the rain is getting noticeably lighter, so I think even if it's only for a couple of laps at the end, I think we will be seeing the dry tyres at some point in this race, so that's good for Pigeon Munch, Mike and Mulder, who've been on their Inters significantly longer than everyone else. They shouldn't have to stress too much about that. But Jork does have the Renault in his sights for P2 here. As it stands, Calzari also on the back of James, which is probably another one we should just keep an eye on, but I'm going to stick with Jork for the time being, so I think that's where we might see some action in the foreseeable future. Smasher picks up a penalty. I think that could be his second penalty, but Mulder will have some as well, I'm sure. Yeah, only Smasher's first penalty. Sorry for the disservice. Mulder had 2 penalties and is 1 warning away from the third, so sorry for the disservice there, Smasher.
So the closest battle got P8 between Jamie 2004 and Hell was there. He's going to make Jamie P10 himself a penalty. I'm not too sure how many he's got. That might cost him a point by the end of the race if the ILR hadn't been insensible and not giving himself any penalties. But Calvo just had so much more grip in Renault as well. Saw Renault struggling on the string like crazy. He sort of just gave way low positions, and he actually cooperated very well with Calvo in foiling what would have been quite nice incident for both drivers. We would have ended up with, well, one of them definitely going out of the race, and the other one a massive spin. So hopefully these guys big over scare. Jamie. I think he's trying to get away from Calzari a bit too hard. He's sort of fast, he might get a bit of open for him. Calzari had some avoiding action, but he did get past with no damage to anybody.
Yeah. But Jamie went to the right more than Calzari was expecting, because I was on board Calzari. Calzari saw the oversteer and immediately took the hard right line, but then Jamie's car went over to that side of the track, and he had to snap to the left and had a big oversteer moment himself and did nicely to save it. But he's got the position for the time being, but he is some 14 seconds behind Danny at the moment to prove our argument that the field is really spread out at this point. We said Danny has the pace to have a go himself, but the Williams is João Paulo's retired. Where's that happened then?
Yellow sector 3. I don't walk down Dazzler because I'm trying to spot where it is. If he managed to hit a wall, that would be quite...
I couldn't see a car.
See his car.
Maybe he's just given up. There's yellow flags at the final corner instead, so maybe he's just paused it and retired. I couldn't see a car. Oh, there it is off on the left on the final corner, so João Paulo's just given up on that one, I think. A bit of a shame to see, but he wasn't in the point, so we're down to 15 runners in the races. Pelzeri's run safety car.
Oh wow.
What a game!
I don't think there's any real need for anybody to come in.
No.
Definitely not.
I think João Paulo needed the section and triggered it. Potentially.
Yeah, that is safety car was quite a minor incident. I mean, he was already pulled over next to the barrier, but then again, I guess it is in the firing line. If somebody does go off there, and they might have factored in a bit of logic and called out the safety car. So I guess you can't really question that. I mean, it's a logical decision, but it's quite unnecessary. I already just thought they would have thrown some localised yellows and just let the guys get on with it over the rest of the track. But I don't think the safety car had picked up the Ferrari, so
and that throws everyone up. Mike Pitts. Someone who's been on the enters. Is Danny. Interesting. Oh, they've just got a massive gap to Pelzeri, so they're not going to lose anything. Well, Danny has to queue, so he might lose something, but Mike will be sixth regardless. But yeah, closes the whole field up. We were complaining about that a little bit. Pelzeri pits as well, as does Jamie. So that's a very interesting one. I'm not sure about this call. Maybe it's not going to dry up then. That's the only logical reason I can see for putting on a fresh set of inters, but for most of them it's not going to be worth it. They're only going to be 3 or 4 laps. As Pelzeri's put on the dries, Jesus Christ, that is ambitious.
Surely not.
Well,
I mean, that's
still raining. The safety car will be out for 2 laps, but no, this is silly. In my opinion, if it had stopped raining, maybe it's still raining at a reasonable rate. That is crazy in my eyes. He's going to struggle to keep it on the track under the safety car. Yeah, I would be pitting at the end of this lap again, Pelzeri, mate. This is sliding all over the place. And Jamie will be getting very frustrated behind him. Please don't run into that car. Fletch has also gone into the dries. Lads, come on.
well, Fletch, I guess, has got nothing to lose. Pelzeri being too high. Don't think I would have made that risk personally, but he obviously made it feel as though it's going to dry up before the safety car comes in. I mean, so he goes onto the runoff. That's not what you want to see. No penalties, obviously. You can't really gain any advantage off it. He's not. Everyone's going to be bunched up. If he catches the safety car, everyone's going to be bunched up behind it anyway. Anyway, but if this somehow pays off, Pelzeri would have played an absolute blinder.
The rain is stopping. I'm not even lying.
It is stopping.
But it's still going to be too wet, and the game decides that it's going to dry the track magically. It's stopped raining now, actually. Surely not. I think the safety car will come in at the end of this lap. Pelzeri will be begging it does another lap. But he's losing time to Daniel under the safety car at the moment, which will play into his benefit, because sometimes the game doesn't bring in the safety car if the whole queue hasn't caught up. But the track is looking already pretty dry. Pelzeri
is slowing about a lot.
No track. As Metzizu joins Scratch as Anto's pits, I reckon he could be going for it as well. We were rubbishing Pelzeri's call, but unless the game decides to do a weird glitch where it doesn't go out at all, I think it's only a few laps away, and BR Hamilton is joined Anto's in the pits. BR Hamilton puts on the softs, Anto's puts on the softs. So few other people going for the strategy as well, and this is crazy stuff. Kazoo's still 25 seconds off the back of Danny. I don't think the safety car will come in.
5 seconds in the first sector alone with the safety car. So it's definitely, certainly on the tires to be on now.
It is another lap.
Yeah,
Might spin on the safety car as we come into sector 3, so Kazoo might be in luck. He needs more than one lap, but one lap will get him closer to the conditions he wants them to be. And I wonder if any of the top guys will go for it.
Even if he's within 10 seconds by the time he goes green, he will play the strategy. Oh!
So he's lost the place to Jamie. And Jamie's going to fly away from him. Yeah, if you go off track, you're allowed to overtake. Like Hamilton overtaking Truly in 2009 around Australia, although that all got a bit complicated. But yeah, so Jamie will now fly off after the back as Mike comes in. I'll fly up that back of the train. Will Mike put on the drives? He's not in the championship fight. He has nothing to lose either. And Mike going for the conservative choice there. He put on the softs in Monaco with a few laps to go and it cost him podium. Jamie and Aaron Dazzler also pit, so everyone's going for the drives here. Kazoo is actually going to be behind Mike, so I think it's going to be close actually. Kazoo could have him. He has him. And the track is looking pretty dry as well. The gap's now 13 behind Danny. So
yeah,
Kazoo
in that field rapidly. In that last sector alone, caught the safety car by around 14 seconds. So the track is pretty much dry now, as I'm seeing.
So if everyone catches up, as Aaron Dazzler's picked up penalty for crossing the pit exit line, that is a weird one. As Jamie spun it under the safety car. So you have to be very careful with that dry tyres to get them up to 10.
Going again. I think over has stayed out on the intermediate. They spun again, he's going on a donut, but I'll divert myself to say the Billy dignity, but
Safety car must be coming in this lap, surely.
I mean, guys in front, we'll be looking behind them now, going...
Safety car in this
safety
lap.
car in this lap. I don't know what top 10 must be thinking of them, but everybody behind them, most notably everyone up to Aaron Dazzler, they're surely top 5 cars. I mean,
yeah, we
so
also have to bear in
there,
mind that there's a lap car, the disconnected ghost car of VSR MP is getting in the way. He's between John and Mulder. Yeah, but John's not going to be able to be where he wants to be in relation to his teammate because it's not letting him through. But yeah, they're making backing up the whole field so that everyone should catch up-ish. Although I think Jamie and below are still going to be too far back, but the top 12 will be with the train. And Mr. Much has picked up a penalty. A stop, that'll be a stop-go. And sometimes the game does that under the safety car if you make contact. But Aiken's gone. Jork comes in. The Smasher comes in. And Mulder comes in as well. So everyone's coming. Hot made an error there. I think at the end of this, he might be as Danny has got it. They're going to be trying to get past him as quickly as he can. He's got right on past the Williams. Might just like Henderson.
Yeah, Danny's going to try and hold him up as much as possible so he can have a run at him into the chicane on the back straight. But we have a big block up.
As Danny's holding everyone up now, the Inter's
he goes
to
through
be
the
on.
ice. I think there's been a constant game for my Marcelo. Danny's so close. ILR having to go swamped under the blue sides, too dry, far too dry. Any sort of post, he just wants to get flung in. He just has 4 places on the back straight alone. Strapping all away. It's a Mercedes engine cars in the middle and the baby before suddenly bashing away for the third sector. As we
really hope Palzeri wins this. As Nathan Aitken's very wide there. Palzeri had the ball to go for the strategy for me. Nathan Aitken's surely not going to fight it. Oh, he is, and Mike's going to get to the inside. As Palzeri spun does! And he loses more places. That's poor for Nathan Aitken. You're on the wrong side. He shouldn't be fighting it. Mike Marshmallow is now back in the lead of the race. And the whole field can turn on his head. As Palzeri goes deep into the last corner. That's a shame for him. He had the balls to go to the construction, but he's lost out on this lap. Mike leads the race from BR Hamilton, BR Hamilton, Palzeri in fourth, Aaron Dustin in fifth, and it'll be Jamie in sixth. With Nathan Aitken and Danny probably dropping all the way to the back of the field as Mulder picks up his third penalty here. After Phil Story from the Division 1 Prix lost out big time in all of this. But yeah, crazy safety car restart as Palzeri got the penalty. Dazzler picks up the penalty. It's all kicking off and Mike has a 1 second gap. But I don't know how long the softs will last, but if they do last, BR Hamilton and BR Hamilton on the softs, Mike's on the mediums. So they should be in the box seat for the moment. As Met Zizou sets the fastest lap of the race. Unbelievable. Danny's in 13th, Nathan Aitken's in 11th, and I think that just sums up what a crazy race we've had here, and there's still 5 laps to go. Yeah, so I think the top will start back and they'll go straight in the shout to get the podium. Any of the top 4 probably end up in the far back. That's proper go, but the racing point is going to try to go down the inside of the level into the top of the sector 3. It's a bit of sidewalk to try and contact, but I think the racing point has made a pretty solid, very solid move. It's quite a simple move actually, straight down the inside, but it's made a stick, simple but effective, guys. So I think Mike has this race in the bag, because I just looked at the penalties, and Antamaz, Hamilton and Palzeri all have at least 2, and Hamilton has 4, I think, whereas Mike only has the 1, so Mike, despite being spun out and being down at the bottom end of the top 10, he was one of the earlier ones to go for the call, and it has benefited him massively here, because he is definitely in the box seat here, and we have to see how the rest of the runners do. Jork's at the fast lap, beaten by Mold down in 7th and 8th. Mulder just managed to make his way past Smasher, and we'll have to see how they do in their charge back up the field. They're obviously on the softs, whereas the 3 cars immediately ahead of them, although only Jamie's a realistic target, because then it's an 8-second gap to Dazzler. So everyone who went for the ballsy strategy, pitting under the safety car, is paid off big time for them, as Danny picks up his 2nd penalty of the race. It's going to be no points for him today unless it all kicks off up ahead, but Jork's only getting 6 on him, so it won't be the end of the world. None of the championship contenders have had a really good race. Jork 7th, Mulder 8th, and Aitken 11th, and Danny 13th. So everyone else is getting an opportunity to pick up points on them here, as Nathan Aitken actually does now move into the points as he gets past the runner of Mr. Pigeon Munch under DRS with just over 3 laps to go.
Yeah, that was a crazy couple of laps, but the field gave us relatively quickly. Nathan Aitken back in the points in P10, but he's 5 seconds behind in Smasher F1. I don't think he's making any moves after it was looking so good for Nathan Aitken early on in the race. He made a real error in strategy and stayed out on the infield, even though it was almost completely dry track. Then again, you never know with these things. The France track seems to seem invisible sometimes. You can't tell what the conditions are by looking at it, and under safety car, I can't really get a feel for it either, being at such low speeds. So, but with everybody came behind him, I guess he didn't really have much of a choice to stay out.
Mulder's gone for the move on Jork, around the outside into turn 1. Gets the move done, pretty immaterial anyway, given I don't think Jork has any penalties, and Mulder has a lot. Danny moves up to 12th, so maybe points are still on the cards for him. Nah, he's too far back. As Nathan Aitken now does pick up a penalty. That's his first of the race. He's getting it pretty clean this week in comparison to last week, but he now joins the penalty club, and I think Jork may be the only driver who doesn't have a penalty. We'll wait till the end of the race to confirm that, but I think the order will be quite significantly reshuffled, as Palzeri has now got back on it and got on the back of the Red Bull of BR Hamilton. He's got back a bit from Antamaz after the Racing Point made the move to get past him, and I think this move doesn't really matter for Palzeri because Hamilton has more penalties than him anyway, but he'll want to finish on the podium. But look at his DRS down 8%, he's really going for it. Hamilton isn't a lot better, but it might be enough to help him defend the position. But no, there's no grip for that Red Bull on the soft tyres, and Pelzeri's going to make easy meet him, I reckon, as Mike's about to start the penultimate lap here of what has been an action-packed and crazy French Grand Prix with Mulder also rapidly closing on Jenny for 6th, as Pelzeri now gets the DRS on the back of the Red Bull, but he doesn't have much ERS to deploy. He's down in no deployment. Trying to defend his position. Pelzeri with the inside line later on the brakes with more grip on those cars. Hamilton doesn't fight it, and that's Pelzeri up into the podium position and breathe.
Yeah, that is quite, again, straight down the inside. The shots have gone off as much as they did in Bill Hamilton's car. Pelzeri might still be on the side.
Well, Hamilton's going to back.
Bill Hamilton has a dive back up the inside. Pelzeri doesn't have that much grip left. Yeah, Pelzeri has to go around outside, and then Hamilton's only got 2 penalties. That affected Pelzeri up right front. As Bill Hamilton moves back past the Williams, and he somehow comes out onto a brilliant battle in France. Well, not even half an hour ago, it completely shut us out, and now we've got amazing weather down in the south of France. As the Williams is still all over the back of that Red Bull. Red Bull tyres aren't in that great place.
Always in contact.
LCR Mulder is all over the runoff area, about an inch and pound of pure. Not going to take out the time, nowhere near, but so these two will be that themselves for the moment. I think that might have been thrown out yellow because of how wide the hash went.
Smash is just going round the outside of Pigeon. Can he hold it? Does he have the grip?
No, he doesn't. Goes on to curb with a big bit of oversteer. It's currently Pelzeri is right on the rear wing of that Red Bull again. He's got DRS. He's got no DRS, sorry. He's busy going for a dive. He's got to try and save it as much as he can on the last lap. If he's going to go for a dive, it's going to have to be almost on the last corner if he's got that much DRS. He's going to have to generate it as much as he can these last few corners except for one. DRS up into the contain, but half everything breaking the bend.
They're both equal on 3 penalties now, so this move matters. This is for 3rd place, depending on how many penalties Dazzler has behind. Dazzler could actually nick it on penalties. Because there is a bit of DRS, is it enough to get the move done? BR Hamilton looks like not shy enough. The corner picks up a 5th penalty. Pelzeri moves alongside and ahead into the braking zone and gets the move done, but Hamilton will try and go for the cutback through the chicane. Does he have the grip on his soft tyres? And I don't think he does. Pelzeri moves up into 3rd here. Mulder moves back past George, but there's even more penalties now, so once again he'll be relegated behind McLaren after the race finish. I'm not sure what happened around last
dive, maybe. No, I think he's settling for 4th now. I don't think he's going to see another gap presenting itself. He's starting to really pull away from that Williams. That Williams has hit the crossover point with its tyres and is much more effective than the softs and the Red Bull at this point. As we're going to get on board with Mike Marshmallow, comes around the final corner. Whoever I'm interrupting you, he is going to win the French Grand Prix after an incredible comeback. It was a great ride from Mercedes. And ILR has P3 in Racing Point. Never going to have Pelzeri, but what happens on penalties is a different story. ILR Hamilton goes into P3, Owens out into P4, Pelzeri out into P4. Unfortunately, he must have picked up a 4th penalty from somewhere. Jamie across the line in 6th, and then in the hat, LCR Mulder.
I think George is 5th. So I missed a lot of penalties for Pelzeri then. As it's all reshuffled.
They can up into P7.
Everything's been reshuffled, but Danny does miss out on the points. George gets 10 rather, so that ends his championship lead. Mr. Pigeon Munch down in 12th after he looked so promising as he was just waiting for the last couple of cars to finish. Nathan Aitken leaving the session, clearly not very happy with how last stint's gone. Danny leaving the session, so they've got a lot of unhappy drivers, but I reckon we've also got an absolutely delighted top 3. I don't think anyone would have predicted that one, as Vettel will come across the line to be the final finisher in 15th. And wow, congrats to Mike, 7 different winners from 8. An improbable winner when he was facing back this at the start of sector 3, but he nailed the strategy, Antsmas nailed the strategy, and BR Hamilton nailed the strategy, and they have been rewarded with their podium today. Unbelievable.
Yeah, well, he got pole. He definitely didn't lead every lap, but he's won the race. So I guess that is satisfying enough for the Mercedes driver of Mike Marshmallow, who fought his teammate Nathan Aitken, and eventually came out as the victor after defeating the Williams of Pelzeri on the last few laps. And well, I'd say that was a crazy race. It'd be a bit of an understatement. But always seems to throw up a shocker.
Yeah. Wow. No real words for that one. We'll get the results confirmed if the game wants to give me something which isn't the black screen. There we are, and it's raining again. But yeah, Jork was the only person not to pick up a penalty, and Pelzeri picked up 5. Do you want to take us through the full results?
Yes, I will. And what few penalties there are? Mike Marshmallow wins the race in P1 with ILR and BR Hamilton joining him on the podium. After that, the rest of the points finishes are Aaron Dazzler, Jork 94, Pelzeri, Nathan Aitken, Smasher F1, Jamie Mulder, and then outside the top 10 annual PNFs are Danny M7, Mr. Pigeon Munch, John MH 2002, Met Zizou, Fletch, PSR Umpi, CX, SSR Jao Paulo, and Mitzi 15. Well, that was some race, even if I say so myself, because we had amazing overtakes, some incidents, and above all, a lot of rain.
Yeah, and unreal strategy calls. When 3 of the top 4 have made 4 stops, you know it's been a crazy race. I think that's like Germany this year in real life. But yeah, we'll try and get the top 3 in the party and ask them some questions.
Yeah, I mean, to get this on a perspective of a driver, yeah, I think that would just be
BR Hamilton is unhelpfully left the session. Let me see if I can find him.
Go to recent players.
Oh my god, what a race.
Congrats, Mike.
Okay, so guys, just remember to put your mic on stream so everybody can hear you.
Yes.
And Hamilton is here, so we'll get it started. As Jack said, include your mic and all that stuff, and we'll start with, at one point, a very unlikely race winner, but it is Mike Marshmallow who makes it 7 different winners from the first 8 races, and just take us through your race.
I don't even know, man. So basically, stuck it on pole. I was leading the race. I was faster than the rest of the guys on wets, except for Nathan. I don't know if you caught it on stream. He went around the outside. I didn't really expect him to be there. And I almost think he cut across to try and get the inside line as soon as he could. Like, to try and defend from the long right-hander and just clipped my wheel and I just went flying around. Recovered well. I mean, I was doing some decent lap times behind Mulder, and then when the safety car came out, when the rain stopped, I thought, if I pit now, even though it's still wet, by the time we get racing, if I lose 5 seconds to the wet guys, doesn't matter, I'll have 15 seconds in the bag. And that's what I did, just kept it clean, got no warnings in the dry period. And yeah, just didn't want to push too hard, but I just wanted to get it. But Pelzeri was so hard to overtake because he was lagging. And I'm so glad. I suppose I'm lucky that Nathan, I don't know why he did it, but he came flying back on track on the inters and absolutely threw Pelzeri to Narnia. So, thank you. But yeah, I think I've rambled on enough now. But I'm just very, very surprised.
Yeah, how do you go about on the safety car restart? Because as you mentioned, Nathan and Pelzeri got in a bit of incident. It was pretty chaotic with some people on inters, some people on tries. How do you go about keeping your nose clean in that situation?
I just wanted to push hard, stay close, but only make a move when I knew it was, easy enough without me. I would have preferred to come home with second than nothing. So, when Nathan came back on track after the long right-hander, I don't know if, again, you put it on stream, but I saw Pelzeri go for the outside line, and I knew if I hugged the inside, Nathan's going to push him off the track, because he was quite aggressive all race, I saw behind, so I knew he was going to defend the position, and he just pushed Pelzeri wide, and it was easy for me and Ant-Man, and I think BR Hamilton got through as well, so made it easy.
Yeah, congratulations once again. Unbelievable drive and strategy for you today. Antmaz has unfortunately disconnected, so
I'll invite him
if someone
back.
can try and get him back in, we'll do BR Hamilton first with an equally unlikely third place. Once again, just take us through your race. I don't really have any questions for that race. Just tell us how it went.
Yeah, it was just the most unexpected podium ever. And I mean, from the race start, just being P10, P11, I went for the gamble on the wets, which really didn't pay off. But and I was just in 12th and whatever. And then the safety car came out, and I decided to go onto Inter to start with and pit and get some fresh tyres. But then another lap round, I decided it was getting really dry, and I should probably go for some dry tyres on softs. And then when I caught up to the field, and just before the safety car restart, there's about 8 drivers on Inters, which all pitted eventually. And yeah, I was just in third, I think, and it was just so unexpected. And I had a good battle with Palzeri, and I mean, I just managed to bring the car home and got P3, which is really unexpected since I've not been having the best performances this season compared to last. But yeah, what a race, and I had some good battles with people like Jamie and Ansmats and a few others. It was really enjoyable.
You mentioned how it's not been the best start to the season for you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe these are your first points. Do you think this can be a way to kickstart your season and get back to the podium and race-winning form that you had at the back end of last season?
Yeah, I mean, I've had to learn no line, and it's been really difficult, and obviously I haven't scored yet, and it's been really frustrating since I was bringing back wins and like challenging the likes of Overkills and people like that. But I think this could be a kickstart to maybe being up there with all the other top guys like last season.
Well done once again. We've got Ansmas now back in the party, so we'll move on to him for P2. How do you go about your race, and what made you go for the dry tyres under the safety car as well? I think you were one of the earlier people to go for it, so talk us through that.
I just said risk it, why not? And I did. At first, the tyres felt absolutely awful. Just felt like the track was still wet, but it was dry. It just felt weird. But then, yeah, I risked it, and out of nowhere, I got a podium. I'm absolutely shocked. I was not expecting a podium. I was like 1 minute behind the leader, or maybe not last. I don't know. I was so far behind because I pitted on wet.
Yeah, and you had a battle with Hamilton briefly when it went to dries. How crucial was it for you to get past him and not fall into the clutches of like Palzeri and Dazzler behind for making sure you brought home the podium?
Yeah, it was very crucial to get past Hamilton, because I know he had 9 seconds of penalties. However, Palzeri had the same amount of penalties as me. He's on the mediums as well, so he's going to be faster towards the end, as we saw during the end of the race. So I just said I need to get a gap just to protect myself from people behind, and that's what I did. And yeah, just held it in and didn't screw myself over. So yeah.
Alright, well done. Congrats to all of you.
Thanks.
Once again on one of the craziest podiums I've ever seen. And I think we can wrap it up here, Jack.
You won't see me more.
Yeah. Well done to everyone on the podium. I think we all had very different races, but I'm looking forward to watching all that back. I think everybody is just.
I am.
But, yeah, there was quite a few amazing overtakes, quite a few incidents, and above all, a lot of rain. I think sums that race up very nicely. So I don't know who's going to be commentating for Austria. Might be me, might be Maestro. But yeah, I guess we'll see you in a week's time for round 9. See you later.
Cheers.